Welcome back in NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey. Today we're looking at some trade candidates, and in particular, players who are holding out or holding in, and if there's any possibility of a potential trade. Some of them, obviously, yes. Some of them, probably not. Let's begin with the most obvious one, Jalen Ramsey. Not only is Jalen Ramsey not present at Dolphins minicamp, the Dolphins excused it, which you pretty much never see unless it's this type of scenario. The Dolphins have said they're going to trade Jalen Ramsey. They said it's fine, just go. We know you're not going to be here for the stuff that matters, for the games. You're not going to be on this team. This trade's going to happen. I'll do trade chances for all these guys. It feels like a lock. You don't see excused absences very often, unless of the case of the Dolphins saying, yeah, we're going to trade him. It still feels like when, not if, the Dolphins trade Ramsey to the Rams. The Steelers now suddenly getting some links there. My boy Pretty Ricky pointing that one out on Twitter. I don't know where. I don't know what the contract stuff looks like. I think that's the crux of the issue here. Dolphins don't want to eat more money. Teams don't want to pay it. Somebody will blink at some point. He's gone. It's a matter of where and when, not if. So predictions. Who will end up trading for Jalen Ramsey? Go ahead and sound off for me in the comments section of today's show. Let's go to Jonnu Smith. This one's weird for me. He wants a new contract from Miami. That's been his stated preference per his agent. But there's been trade rumors around him, trade reports, outright claims that the Steelers are interested, which we'll come back to. I'll go 50-50 on this one. This entire situation, it's kind of tricky for me. The trade chatter, the timing of it, the contract request, why'd you sign a 2-year deal if you're just going to ask for a new deal a year into it? That's not how most players do business, even though he played very well, and it's understandable from that perspective. I would like to know who leaked the Steelers' interest. Who did that? Because I don't think Pittsburgh, I get that it's Arthur Smith, which I think is why it got leaked. But I don't get the Steelers have Darnell Washington. They just paid Pat Freiermuth. They're going to pay another tight end for the meme of Arthur Smith. That's kind of weird to me. And look, Smith played great last year in Miami. Don't get me wrong on that front. So was it the Dolphins leaking it to drive up trade interest? Was Jonnu's agent leaking it? Because it doesn't make any sense for Pittsburgh to leak it. That's not how teams do business. They don't leak their own interest. So who leaked it and why? Maybe helps explain why we're at where we're at. So predictions. What ends up happening with Jonnu Smith? T for trade, P for pay, H for hold, i.e. just do nothing, which maybe is a very real outcome as well. Maybe I should have gone 33% on all three of those. I don't know. Go vote for me in the comments of today's show. Another obvious name, Trey Hendrickson, the Bengals pass rusher. He has requested a trade or a new deal. He wants a new deal. He'd prefer a new deal with the Bengals. He's gotten neither from a really sloppy run from Cincinnati, and I mean that in a negative sense, with contract stuff in general right now. I'll put the trade odds 50-50, right around in that ballpark. If I ran the Bengals, we wouldn't be in this mess. They wouldn't be in this mess, I guess. The Bengals should simply pay their best player on defense by far. The market is the market. You messed up last time. You messed up the time before. Get it done. Why was the head coach texting Hendrickson, hey, if we're not here in a month, we're going to fine you? All they did was upset him. All the Bengals' mistakes of late are all self-inflicted. It's they just shot themselves in the foot and went, let me try the other foot. Doesn't make any sense. I would lean, somebody blinks here. Bengals paying Hendrickson saying, fine, I'll just play this out and do the franchise tag stuff next year. Or I'll take the deal that's offered. It's so messy right now, I don't think we can rule a trade out for Hendrickson. Not even the only edge, not at minicamp practicing. Shamar Stewart's holding out because the Bengals are now trying to introduce all new contract language with voids, where previously it was, running issues, only voids the current year. Now it voids the rest of the year. Stewart's going, I'm not being your guinea pig for that. It's all so messy. It's all self-inflicted by Cincinnati, and they did it with the T. Higgins stuff, and they eventually got lucky there. He switched agents, frankly. They dragged out the Jamar Chase deal. Bengals don't have any benefit of the doubt right now, and it makes them look bad. And you can get NFL jerseys for under $80. That's right, 20% off going on right now. Variety of NFL players and jerseys. You can find cheaper ones, but it's all like ex-players, so like, it's not what you want. Current players, current team, official Nike jerseys at chatsports.com/jersey deal. You have to search or filter by your team or player, but it's not that challenging. You guys are smart. Chatsports.com/jersey deal. Link will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. Let's go to TJ Watt, the Steelers pass rusher. And this is kind of the first of the, like, I doubt he gets traded, but what if weird stuff happens? Watt's looking for what I assume is another record-setting contract because Myles Garrett got one, and those guys are extremely similar production and talent and expectations and hype and all that stuff. He's skipping minicamp. Last time he was a hold-in when he was due for a new contract. I think it's very unlikely TJ Watt gets traded. Because it doesn't make sense to me. Look, I get that TJ Watt's last contract ran into some issues, took a little bit. Pittsburgh doesn't like guaranteeing beyond year 2. We're past that point. The money's too expensive. You have to now. That's how it's going to work. But trading him makes no sense. I think you can have some concerns over his age. He's going to be 31 in October. That's fine. You kind of lose that argument for me when you have a 42-year-old quarterback in December that you just signed. Like, you're trying to win now. You need TJ Watt to do that. Even if the back end of the contract doesn't pay off for you very well, you're kind of going to move on from it. And get done before the Micah Parsons deal. We'll come back to that. All of a sudden, he's not number 1 anymore. He probably wants to beat Myles Garrett, which means you're going to beat Jamar Chase in terms of average per year. Guaranteed money matters a lot, too. Man, that Garrett contract caused some issues for a lot of people in the NFL because they had to money whip him into wanting to stay in Cleveland. It's going to be expensive. That's how it works. Get it done. Let's go to Scary Terry. That's Terry McLaurin, the Commanders wide receiver. This is not the first time this has happened to. McLaurin also did some hold-in stuff when he had to get his last contract with the Commanders in the final year of his deal. I also think the trade chances are low. Now, if the Commanders were in a different spot, if this had happened like 2-3 years ago when they weren't viewed as a contender, maybe we have a different conversation around this. But they're in win-now mode. They've made trades. They've been aggressive. They kind of need their number 1 wide receiver. That's not who Deebo is anymore. He's in the last year of his deal. He has been a perennial 1,000-yard wide receiver. It's all he does. Regardless of the QB, 1,000 yards, 1,000 yards, 1,000 yards, 1,000 yards. He doesn't miss time. Age is maybe becoming more of a factor, but like he's playing 6 games trying to get paid. He's playing in all of them. What that contract looks like, I'm not so sure. I don't think it's going to be Jamar Chase. Might be kind of surprising, frankly. But I think you could argue for DK Metcalf money. The production is startlingly similar. Ages are in the same ballpark, too. I would bet somewhere in that DK Metcalf range is reasonable for Scary Terry. At least what he wants. So who gets paid first? TJ for TJ Watt or TM for Terry McLaurin? Now, those guys were all holdouts. Now some hold-ins. Micah Parsons showed up for Cowboys minicamp, did not partake in drills on Tuesday. Probably won't do anything Wednesday either. He said there was a tight back. Okay, sure, Micah. His trade changes are low, though. And the whole thing is stupid, frankly. Micah and Jerry spoke for a good 25 to 30 minutes. Micah claims there were no contract talks there. They already did the secret contract talks where, like, both parties pretty much knew what the deal would look like. And Micah said, call my agent, and then they haven't. Because that makes sense for an organization. This is another classic Cowboys contract. I don't know when, if it's in late June, July, at the training camp buzzer, right before it, right after, in August. The deal's going to get done. It's just classic Cowboys somehow, some way that it's not. Now, Elton Jenkins is kind of an interesting one here as well. He's holding in at minicamp. He's got contract concerns. And this is more unique than others. So Jenkins is moving from guard to center and basically says he wants more contractual assurances, which I interpret as guaranteed money. Because what Jenkins' concern is, I'm moving from a more valuable position guard, they get paid more than centers. I don't want to have a down year or get hurt and you go, okay, bye, we're gone. And now I'm 2 years removed from playing guard. I don't have the same market value. He's got no more guaranteed money left. That's, I think, the crux of the issue here with Jenkins. I don't think he's going to get traded. Again, Green Bay is a contender. If there's with all these guys, like if stuff does not happen and we get to the deadline, we could always revisit. It happened last year with some players, like Amari Cooper, for example. But I don't think a trade's going to happen right now. And we'll have more NFL news and rumors even as we get through mini camps and we get a dead period, frankly. Don't miss out. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Couple notable players who did report, and we'll go more in depth on both Kirk Cousins and James Cook, so stay tuned for that. Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, both present. They want new deals. They'll get them at some point from the Jets. Marshawn Lattimore, Laramie Tunsil, I don't think those are contract stuff. They're just vets who don't like going to OTAs. Kirk Cousins skipped OTAs, did show up to minicamp, said all the right things about being the backup, not being a distraction, but we know he wants to start. Captain Kirk also likes cash. He's going to make $27.5 million worth of it from the Falcons this year. If there was a team that wanted Kirk Cousins badly, I think a trade would happen. I don't think a team wants Kirk Cousins right now. We could very well see a Sam Bradford-esque scenario where come, August, there's an injury and he's got to go make a big-time trade for Kirk and save the season, save jobs. So I'm filing this under the, not right now, but let's keep an eye on it. So with that in mind, name a player who you think ends up getting traded. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Let's talk James Cook. He reported to Bills minicamp, even did some drills. So this is not a hold-in scenario at all. And I actually appreciate this quote here from James Cook. Why at minicamp? I like my money. That's why I'm here. I get it. Look, this is a contract thing. This is not... I know some fan bases want James Cook. I don't think a trade's happening at all. Now, next offseason, we can have a different conversation when potential franchise tag comes into play, etc. Running back contracts can be tricky, but the Bills have Super Bowl aspirations. Trading away their best back and, frankly, one of the better offensive players with Ray Davis and Ty Johnson behind him doesn't really make much sense. So, Cook is taking a stance of, I want to get paid. I'm not going to sacrifice my short-term money to make that happen. So, if I have to, I'll just write it out, so to speak. Maybe that actually jumpstarts contract talks again, but I don't think a trade's in the cards at all.